Glory to the Most High God. I just want to do a quick testimony. What happened on Monday, just gone, on the 5th of July, 21. And yeah, quick one. Testimony, just one. So, I only had $10 left. No money, no phone service, no internet, except from the Wi-Fi in the place. But yeah, and yeah, so I had to go to somewhere, and so I had to go to the petrol station around the corner with only $10, and the petrol was $1.73 a litre, so I wasn't too happy. Didn't even get 6 litres worth of petrol. Anyway, but I didn't really worry too much because if you, I don't know if you saw my previous testimony, God had me running on empty for about 100 k's for over 4 destinations. He had me doing that, so I wasn't really worried. So I took off. I had to go up into the mountain area, so I drove off, and I was going up the slope, up the range, and lo and behold, the car started backfiring and then it started chugging. I went, uh-oh, I'm running out of petrol. And I went, Anyway, I thought maybe the enemy's coming against me, just better check. So I tried to drive a little bit further and I didn't get very far at all. Anyway, probably another 10-20 metres. And as I pulled over, I was right against the edge of the road. Yeah, so I ran out of petrol. And so what's going on here? So, but I remember when I was back in Victoria, about 6 months ago, he had me run out of petrol so that some people would get blessed. So I figured, well, maybe it's the same thing. So I just sat on the side with my dog. I had the hazard lights going on the car so people could see that I'd broken down. And I could see in the distance, I could see houses, and I could also see a caravan park, but I didn't feel led to go and ask for petrol. So I just sat there. And of course there was a fair bit of traffic going past, going up to the mountain. It's quite a popular area. Yeah, so the first day I saw nothing, so I thought, oh well, since I've got to sit here and rest in peace, I thought I'd get myself a coffee. Made a coffee out of the car. Then I had coffee and still nothing going on. After a couple of hours, I then thought, well, I might as well just read the Bible while I'm waiting. And it just came over me to read it. So it just happened to be that I was just about to read John chapter 17, and it ended up being significant. So John 17 is where he's praying before Jesus is praying just before he's taken in captivity. Now the other apostles, they just talk mainly about him doing the prayers and then coming back and rousing on the disciples for falling asleep. But in John, it actually points out that he's making a prayer for himself, making a prayer for the believers, and also making a prayer for the non-believers. And then I read that out aloud, and then I also read the next chapter where Jesus allowed himself to be captured. And I just felt that once I read it, I felt that it was significant. And then I waited for a little bit longer. The one Audi pulled up about 20 metres away from me, but they just changed positions in the car. They weren't stopping for me. They took off. Eventually a guy did come up, and he had a Land Cruiser, 86 Land Cruiser like I had, but his is all prime condition with all the mod cons on it, yeah. But his is a diesel and mine's a petrol. Anyway, he came to me and asked me what was wrong, and I said, oh well, basically, long story short, got no petrol, I got no money. And that was it. I just left it at that. And so he says, oh, you're in a right predicament, aren't you? And so he said, well, you know, my car's diesel, so I can't really help you there. But he says where he's going, he'll ask if anybody can help me, and he'll send them back down. Anyway, I thanked him and said, God bless to you. And I waved him off and he went away. So I went back and sat down. Oh well, sit where you have to sit. And lo and behold, about 10 minutes later, 15 minutes later, whatever it is, he came back. I said, oh yeah. So he actually had 2 jerry cans. They were 10-litre jerry cans. And so he put the petrol in the car. And I was thanking him, and I said, well, look, there's stuff in the car here. Since, just to pay for the petrol, if there's anything you want in here, and, there's tools and inverters and stuff, and then he turned around and he said, no, just do it forward. And I went, oh, you beauty. And well, sense that in this, and he said, basically what he was saying was doing that good deed that he did to somebody else. So I thought that was good, and then so he waited for me to take off, and I took off. And so as I took off, I said, oh, Daddy God, did you hear what he said? And he said, do unto others. He didn't even charge me. He didn't even want anything for the petrol. And I felt there was a great sense of joy came over me at that time. I felt the Holy Spirit, joy from the Holy Spirit, and my speaking in tongues broke out in a very joyous and happy and also laughing manner. And for like 5-10 minutes, or maybe even 15 minutes, as I was driving up the range, that sense of joy came over. So I really feel that there was a significance to this guy helping me out. And yeah, so from there I basically went to a body of water, a lake, and prayed over it and invited the Holy Spirit to take it, dominion over it. And then I went through another way and came back here. So the whole, even though it was a short journey, I felt it was very important. There was a lot of joy and accomplishment come out of it. And yeah, and then I had sensed feeling, one, reading out the prayers that Jesus said was significant. What he said and did for me was significant, and that I think also there was an underlying factor there that even though we might end up being like I'm a long way from being spiritually mature, I think, but there's you tend to get lost sometimes thinking, being God's warrior, that you have to do all these prayers and do all this other stuff. But one of the biggest things with being God's warrior is being humble enough to do even the smallest things that he wants you to do. So in this case, acting like a helpless little lamb, if you like, there was significance in that. It allowed God to do something and allowed God to bless this person, because Jesus said, anything that you do for my brother or my child, for my children, you do to me. So this man's been obviously blessed by the fact that he come and helped me out when God basically got me to do that. So yeah, so that's my little testimony. Not a lot, but I think it was just reinforces again. Humbleness is part of the warrior's bag of tricks, and we all need to get down and be really humble sometimes, doing things we really don't like doing, like running out of petrol, and just so that he can bless somebody or do something for somebody. Well, I hope this is a blessing to you. God bless you all. Have a blessed day.